Well, hello everybody, it's Marilyn Wilson here today with our today's coffee chat. I see some of you like Phil, who's been here many days in a row, and Tim Heckerman, my two, I think, most prevalent visitors. So thanks guys, so thanks for saying hi. Today we've got a really interesting topic, and if any of you that have been watching these for a while, you recognize that one of the things that I'm trying to help everybody understand is that while lots of times we just think of our MLS organization as sort of the MLS system, right? It's the place we do some of our work and we set up our listings, and that's kind of the extent of it. There is a whole lot more gold in them thar hills. There's a lot of different ways for you to do free prospecting and generate new business opportunities. And so I wanted to show you one of those today. We've got Kari Autry, who's a good friend of mine from CRS Data, and so many of you in your markets may have CRS. Actually, I'd love to know how many of you actually have access to it in your market. It'd be kind of fun to know that. But there's, if you don't have CRS, there's many other products that do somewhat similar kinds of things. What you're going to learn today, still pay attention, because you can do it in your own market too, whether that be Realist or even Cloud CMA to some degree. RPR even has some of this. Dennis has Realist. Thanks for letting us know that. So the exact design won't be relevant to you, Dennis, but the actions of what you can do will be. So pay attention to all of that stuff. Mariah says she can't hear anything. I think, can you guys hear me okay? Kari, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You might want to check your audio, or Mariah, or go in a different way. Or maybe Michael, if you can help her, that would be great. So before we start, I wanted to just let everybody know that we love it when you ask us questions, because that's the whole point here, is for us to make sure that this is really working for you. So go to the right-hand side of that little panel that you see, and where it says questions right down here, there's a little gray triangle. Click that gray triangle, it'll open it up, and then we're happy to answer any questions that you might have, and we'll answer it if it makes sense right in the middle, or we may save it to the end. So if I don't answer it right away, don't worry, we'll get back to you, okay? So again, I wanted to introduce Kari Autry. She is the head of marketing and kind of the chief cook and bottle washer at CRS Data. She gets involved with lots of different things. She's been in the industry for many, many years. And CRS Data, for those that don't know them, are a really neat company, privately owned, with a group of people that really, really, really care about their customers a lot, and we hear great feedback. So if you are lucky enough to have them in your market, good for you. So welcome, Kari. Good to have you. Thank you for showing up today and talking to us about some neat stuff.
Happy to be here.
Great. Well, let's just jump right in, because we know everybody's busy. We got a lot of things to do. So we're going to talk today about how do you leverage that, the public records and the property data in unexpected ways. We want to expand your thinking about what public record software can do. So I want to just ask the audience real quick, tell me how many of you have actually logged in and used products like Realist or CRS or even Cloud CMA or RPR. How many of you have looked at those tools, and especially have looked at them in the context of how to use them for prospecting? So let's see. So Betty's used them, Tim's used all of them, Dennis uses them all the time, so that's great. So we've got people that are already familiar with these tools, which is great. So we can go a little deeper, Kari, which is awesome.
Great.
And yeah, so just give us a sense of, we obviously, everybody, I think by now, has gotten the message that this is a really good time to reach out to your customers. But tell us some of that example you told me about Easter. That's really cute.
Yeah.
How you can use tools like this.
Yeah, I thought this one was really neat. So there was a local realtor, it was the week before Easter, and she, it was existing customers and then prospects that she knew that had young families. She went out in the evenings, the week prior to Easter, and hid eggs in their front lawns and put a gift bag with an explanation of what's happened on their lawn that night, and just a thank you for their business, left her business card. But what ended up happening is it was Instagrammed on so many, so many people. And so I saw it. I don't even have a young family. These aren't even, but I saw it on Instagram like over 10 times. So I thought it was just a fantastic way to use some downtime to say, what can I do? How can I keep my name out there? get in front of people when people are stuck in their homes. So, I think this is the time for people to just get very creative, and I think people appreciate that. Another thing, simple. I don't know. I'm sure most people are like this. I have a laundry list of thank you notes that I probably should be doing at any given time, but I just don't. But this is a perfect time to just sit down and write those thank you notes. Ask. That is a perfect place. If you are in person uncomfortable asking for referrals, it's a perfect place to ask. And also for those that do give you referrals, to continue, for them to encourage them to continue doing that, throw a gift card, a small gift card to a local coffee shop. So it's a great time to do things like that.
And let's talk about asking for referrals for a minute, because I think I think all of us in sales always are a little like, oh, that's uncomfortable, right? How would you approach that topic right now? Because obviously you're not going to be like, go, 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 I need money. How do you help me get money, right? I mean, the tone has to be different. How would you suggest that people might, ask for a referral? Like, would it be more like, hey, I know that there's people out there that need help with, buying or selling, or that, they may need to get out of a house for whatever reason, or they may need to get into a house for whatever reason. Is it more that kind of a tone of more like, how can I help your friends, as opposed to give me a referral?
I think as realtors, who your strong candidates of giving a referral are. You also need to consider what is their sphere of influence, and you really kind of narrow it down that way. Actually, my realtor, I thought this was a brilliant thing. We have not purchased anything. We purchased our home 10 years ago. So, but during this time, I've gotten a phone call from her. And it was that she never asked for a referral. Now, we've given her many, many referrals over the years, but she didn't. It was just a phone call of, how are you guys doing? What's going on? How are the kids? And it was not out and out asking, but she did say, thank you for your referrals in the past. Feel free to send them, my way. But it was, she approached the phone call of, how are you doing? How are the kids? What's going on? Kind of shared what's going on. I think that just, when you have the relationship with people, it's just a much more natural way to do it. So that would be my input.
And I was just laughing with Kari before we started. Like, I am so hug deprived right now. It's like, my daughter gets hugs about 700 times a day. She's like, all right, leave me alone. But it's like, it could be that silly, like literally you get on a Zoom or a GoToMeeting or whatever, and just like, can I give you a hug?
I think my children are fighting for me. Yeah.
My friend of mine was laughing. He said, my dog is like, please leave me alone. I don't want to take any more walks. I've had enough of you. Go away. It's so funny.
Yeah, I do find that. We're all kind of going to our corners in the house for sure.
Exactly. So let's talk about this. Is just a simple thing, but one of those things that none of us ever get to talk about. This is a really good idea.
So the reports that you're sending out to your prospects or your current clients, one simple way to get your name and get your face out in front of them is, don't forget to brand your reports. Within our product, you can go into the profiles and settings. You can upload a picture, you can upload a personal message, you can upload just your business card. So whatever you want to do, it's just so simple, takes no time, but it makes those reports look much more personalized and directed to them. So I think that's an excellent.
Yeah, and that's something to think about, and that could be like today I'm just going to brand myself everywhere, right? Whether that be on your website, if you have any social media programs, the MLS organization, if you use RPR, Cloud CMA, any of those tools, they all, not all, but pretty much all of them have branding capabilities. So if you said to yourself, I'm going to do one thing today, I'm just going to go and I'm going to make sure that my brand is everywhere, and that it's, and make sure it's up to date, right? Sometimes we change email addresses and we forget to change it everywhere. It's a simple thing, but it can make such a difference to make sure that they know where to call you or to get, or email you if they want to get more information. So, so it looks like it's pretty easy here. You just kind of upload it, fill in a few things, and away you go. And that's probably pretty similar in all of the tools that are out there today, right?
Yes. So.
And while we're on this, though, let's talk about, again, in a generic sense, what kinds of reports can you pull out of a public records system like MLS Tech Suite?
Okay, so there are numerous different ways you can do it. If you'll scoot to the next slide, I can just show you, there's
Perfect.
a few
Okay.
different ways to do it. For example, you can do a map search. If you just want to search in a particular zip code, if you want to do a wide open search and you want to do a large, mail out, or you can do an entire zip code if you want. You can do an entire county if you want.
Okay.
But you can really, really narrow down. So let's say you sold a home in a subdivision and it
Okay.
was a quick sale, it was a profitable sale, it's a great area. If you can you can refine it to a level that you can say, I want this subdivision. I want people that mortgages are paid off that have lived there for over 15 years. So I mean, so there's just many different ways that you can do it. You can refine it very, very narrowly through a map or we have numerous filters that you can use as well.
What other types of filters do you have, just out of curiosity? I love that the mortgage is paid off. What other ones do you have?
Oh gosh, I mean, it could be anything from, within, for example, with a map, you could, and even with the filters itself, do you want a water view? How close is it to the water view? Do you want to stay out of flood zones?
Gotcha.
Property values. You only want to sell in you find that you have a niche in this price range. You can look through that. You can also, make sure that these people there's no reason that they've not bought the house within the last year because they're probably not interested in selling.
Gotcha.
You can look for condos. You can look for strictly residential. So just, single family homes, things like so, all different ways. I think if you have not gone in there, you would be absolutely amazed as to the level of detail you can go into. But I say level of detail, but I also want to say it's so simple to use. And if you just want a wide open search, you can do that many different ways as well.
And so what if I'm doing this search, I'm just going to because I'm not an agent, right? So I'm just trying to understand. I think, if you haven't used these tools, so I go in there, I find whatever criteria it is that I want to, that I believe is a good place for me to build my business. Then I click that button. It generates a list of customer names and email addresses, or is it mailing addresses, or is it both, or what do I actually get? Mailing addresses.
It's mailing addresses.
Gotcha. And
you can download it, to your not your CV. You can download it to your software where you keep your customer management information. You can to the level of you can go ahead and print it on Avery labels.
Gotcha.
So there's different ways you can do it.
And those Avery labels, you can buy those on Amazon. I just did that the other day, and they have software that makes it real easy to take those names, which kind of show up like a label, and then they populate it. So it's super easy to do that, right?
I know, and what's so fascinating to me, as advanced technologies as we have, the level of excitement we have when we show how you can use the Avery labels, and you can even start, like, let's just say you have a page, but you've used 10 of the labels and you still have 5 left. Our program will allow you to choose that particular label.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, so it is funny. I mean, a lot of people, just ship theirs off to be, mailed by a mailing company. But some of them, I mean, there are plenty of people out there that are still using the labels to, put stuff out there. So it's great.
I mean, I guess that's what's nice about right now is we have a minute to breathe and think about these things. Yes. If you have a smaller business, a newer business, or you haven't done a whole lot of this, you don't have to spend a fortune with a third party. You can do this yourself. Like, this is kind of like coffee chats are kind of like DIY virtual selling. It's kind of the way we're, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's keep it simple.
Yeah. True. And we are real excited. We have a brand new prospecting design coming out at the end of June. So those of you that do have CRS data, the next page will begin to look familiar to you in June. So we're excited about that.
So we have a couple questions for you, Amy. The questions from Amy. I'm sorry. Yeah. Long day. So Dennis says 30 homeowners around a property just sold with a welcome Mr. and Mrs. Buyer to your neighborhood postcard. So he just did it. It just worked.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
so he understands what we're talking about here. It's just, Dennis, you could probably be maybe you should be on the next coffee chat. We can talk to you. And Amy actually asked a question, and we can do this if you have the capability. She said, how about walking us through a search? Could you actually show people how to do that? Or is there a screen where we can kind of look at it in more granularity?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we can. It may take me a hot minute.
Okay.
You know what? Why don't we do this? Why don't you go to the next slide? And I
Okay.
think this will better.
Yeah, I
I
think
think.
this is a good example. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry. Not. We need to go to slide the next one. The next
the
one.
next one.
Yeah.
This one. There you go. Yeah,
Okay.
this is
So
really.
this, I think this will probably be easier than actually.
Yeah.
It could
Okay.
take us a minute to figure it
Yeah.
out. But
Okay.
this is the design that they'll be seeing in June, at the end of June. And so this is super simple. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see you can pick your county, um, and then you have all of the filters on the left, and it will automatically populate the list on the right as you are refining your search. And you see the blue dots; those indicate
Hmm.
where the homes are located.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so you're able to, and it's not on this particular one, but there will be a map legend you can use with drawing tools and be able to go look in aerial. So you really can use the map and also the filters. And the filters you're seeing on the left on this particular one,
Hmm.
they scroll. So I would say there's probably 30 of those blue
Gotcha.
rectangles. So it's simple to use. It's all above the fold. And everything just is right in front of you. Everything populates on the right. And if you need to further refine that list, you have the ability to do that, to take some off or keep them there.
And
And
Amy,
then,
we're going to talk about some training opportunities later. I'm not sure if you actually have this particular product in your market, but if not, I can show you how to go into the MLS and find out the one that you might have if it's not this specific one. But I think this is a good example of how you can really slice and dice the information. Like the ownership duration is an interesting owner type. So owner type is like investor versus owner occupied.
yes, yes. So, yes, this would be that, yes, owner occupied.
Gotcha. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's interesting too. So if you know that there's a prevalence of investors in that market, that can help you with not only, finding them. And if any of you were on we've had so many webinars lately. We just did one recently with Rental Beast. That's a whole other cool product where you could find out where the investors are here and then reach out to them to see if any of them want to do rentals, and then you could put them on Rental Beast. So all of these things all start to come together after a while.
And that example goes the other way too. You don't want to waste, a letter on going to a home that somebody's renting because they don't have the ability to.
Because they don't care. So why waste your whatever? It probably costs you over $1 per person these days. Yeah, that makes sense. So, but Amy, again, we'll show you where you can do some training on this and get very specific about what you can and cannot do, and get creative about. There's no rules here, right? Like I love the Easter egg hunt idea. There's, what you could do that. Like we have a thing right now in our church where. And I don't think this gets this granular, right? But they're asking people to adopt seniors in high school. My daughter's one of them. And then someone adopts them, and then they do those fun things like you were talking about with the Easter eggs. But you get creative about what's happening in your local market, or the kinds of value or service or love and support, which however you describe them, that you want to provide right now. There's a lot of ways that tools like this can help you with that. Even if it was something you put in the mail, even if it's just a nice little card that says, I'm thinking about you. There's no call to action at all. It's just, hey, I'm thinking about you. I saw this card. It reminded me of you. You can go to, I don't know if you guys have Trader Joe's, but I just saw yesterday they have cards for 99 cents in Trader Joe's, and a lot of the grocery stores have, simple, nice ways. Or someone sent, have you guys seen the Jib Jabs? Does anybody know what those are? I haven't seen them in years. Do you remember those things? It's a little software. You put your head and like your family's head, or you can put you and your assistant's head, whoever you want. And then it's just silly, dumb nothing meaningful about it. It's just funny. It makes you smile. It's like these little heads start to dance and they become little bodies. It's adorable. It's like cost you, I don't know, $4.99 to do it for 100 people. And it's just
Yeah.
silly. It's just get somebody's
Yeah.
attention, saying, "Wow, someone's thinking about me." Right? There's a lot of different ways you can do it. It's just fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Just
Okay.
yeah. Go ahead.
Do you want to go back to this slide now to talk about prospecting with ease? This is kind of a cool thing too.
Oh, yes. So this is, and you'll find this within our help section, but to help you get started with a letter or a postcard, you have the ability to go in and these are some of the examples of what we have available. And you just download it and it has that subject written down. You can edit it, to whatever extent you want to, but I think just getting started is the hardest part sometimes. And if we're going to help you start, we're going to help you with that letter or that message. So
gotcha. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, in doing things like these coffee chats, you get more comfortable over time.
right.
So even if your first round of letters isn't perfect, right? As long as it's not insensitive right now, that would be my only worry, right? You just got to make sure it doesn't sound too like, "I'm so amazing, you should call me," kind of. That tone is not going to work. Frankly, I don't think that tone ever works, but it definitely doesn't work right now. But it's more about how can I help you, or what we're hearing too is that a lot of people are interested in sort of what's going on in the market, right? How is my home asset at risk with all of the other things that are going on right now?
Absolutely.
So pulling a little analysis out of this to show the number of houses that have sold recently. For those of you that have been on the show in the past too, we've seen 2 or 3 different people tell us that I think the perception from consumers might be that real estate's dead, right? There's nobody selling, nobody buying, it's just over. And that's absolutely not true at all.
Yeah.
Right? So
that's what we've seen as well, is there a lot, even though we are in this extremely weird period of time, but people still have life, and it continues, and there are reasons that you have to buy a home. There are people that took a job a month ago and now need to move. There's just plenty of reasons that people are moving, and I'm hopeful that now that we have all of these new ways that we can look virtually more than we ever did in the past, which is a testament to creativity and and the people in our industry just reacting quickly to be able to say, how do we still do business? So anyhow, I think but I am hopeful that this is a short blip on the radar, and we'll see a quick uptick.
But even with a tool like this, I think you could do this. You could go draw a map of the area. We'll talk about maps in a second, but you could draw the area that you focus on, right?
Yeah.
And if you did nothing else but just pull out all the homes that have sold in the last month, or the number of listings that are available, or anything that shows that there's real activity in that local neighborhood. And we used to have a gentleman that did that. He would send once a month, he would send like all the houses that were for sale, all the ones that were pending, all the ones that had sold, and what price they had sold for. He did it every month. He owned this neighborhood. He owned it. He was the only one that communicated on a regular basis. That's the other thing, is you don't necessarily have to be the best. You just have to be the most consistent, right?
Yes.
If they just hear your name, and again, not with necessarily like recipe cards or things, I think that era is over, right? But with information that's interesting, or if there's any local community information that you can share. COVID, I think, is probably getting a little over the top right now. I think we're all getting a little COVID fatigue, but anything else that you think is, or even with COVID, if it's something that's more local and more interesting and more unique, or people have done things like, here's all the restaurants that are taking takeout orders. That's, again, I think that I feel like with COVID, every day is a week, and every week is a month, and every month is like a year. So you have to be almost real-time COVID, if that makes any sense.
It's almost like we've had to take COVID. This is a perfect example. We had, right before it hit, we had a press release that was ready to go. That was about some new customers, press release for some new MLS customers. And, we just pressed pause that we're like, this is a little insensitive right now. And, that was, mid-March. But now, you're starting to see, Black Knight put out a press release about some new hires and, things like that, that you're starting to see that come back. So it doesn't seem so insensitive. So I think you can take, those of us that work more at an MLS level or a vendor level, it's that same type of mentality that realtors can use. It's not, it's not the, oh my gosh, COVID message anymore. You don't have to be so hypersensitive, but you can still kind of work it into your messaging, but more almost with an upbeat, we're coming
out of it. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Yes.
But it's like there's like don't limit your imagination. We gave you a few ideas here, but we got very clever entrepreneurial people on the call. Just think about it. Like, what are the things you'd want to tell your neighbors or tell your past clients or tell people you've even been talking to in the last 6 months that you think is unique and that's going to make you stand out? That it's, and it doesn't have to be expensive or fancy. I think that's the other thing, right? Sometimes it's just the simplest thing, like the Easter egg on the front lawn, can make such a difference.
Yeah, huge.
Okay. Okay, so do we want to talk about mapping a little bit too? This is kind of cool.
Yes. Okay. So one area that I feel that within the products is there is so much valuable information with mapping. So the next slide will show a picture of a darling house that I'm going to wait for it to come up. But looks like, oops, there we go. So a really, really cute starter home, and you have a client that is young. They're looking this particular house. It comes up on your MLS, and it is the right price. It's the right square footage. It's the right neighborhood. I mean, it is, upon this view, it is perfect. But you also know these people have requested that they want to be in the middle of a neighborhood. They want it quiet. They don't want a lot of traffic. So that's their thing, and you know that neighborhood, but you can't quite place where this house sits. So if you go to your map, you will see where that house is. In the blue there, you can see where that house is, and you can see with where the red arrows are that the house faces a CVS pharmacy. And there's also a post office, and so that's the aerial view, or not the aerial view. That's just your map view. But you say, well, how bad is it? Let's look. And so you can go to a true bird's eye view. On the next slide, you can, more red arrows pop up. You're like, oh, wow, it really is. There's now I'm noticing that that's the main drag through town. There is not only a post office, but there's a credit union next to it. And so you realize that is a perfect home for them if it were a little further back. But so you really don't even need to waste your time showing them this house because it won't work for them. But if you also had another client that said, look, I want to be able to I don't want to have to drive 5 minutes into a neighborhood. I want to be super close to things. They're not that. This would be an ideal home for them. So this is just a really simple way. It's a time savings tool. Because right away without even leaving your desk or your iPad, your phone, that this is not the ideal home for these people. So that's just a way you can use it to your advantage.
If somebody, and I'm sure agents have this sometimes happen too, someone, a potential client will reach out and say, oh, I just saw that house. It's $289. It's actually in our price point. Look how cute it is. Let's go look at it. Yes. You could do the same thing for them, right? And say, well, wait a minute, from what you told me, you're exactly what you just described. Let me show you using a tool that I have here without either of us leaving our homes. That's probably not the one that we want to worry about. And and you might do a live open house today, right? There's a lot of those happening. And it looks cute from the inside, but again, you get to this and you're like, no, that's not the right house for you. So what would all these things do? They make you be more prepared and more intelligent and smarter about homes and properties in the neighborhood than anybody else is. That's the goal, right? We want every agent needs to be the expert, not let the consumer believe they know more than the agent does. And I know many of them do. So that's not always perfect.
And I think that anytime a realtor or anybody, salesperson for that matter, where they show their value is giving you the knowledge you don't have. We can all go and look at properties online and but the step for when a realtor shows their value is when they know more than their customer does, and they can point these things out, and you're like, oh, like I mean, I remember when we were looking at houses, you know, she would send, you know, we looked for a long time, and she would send me lists of, you know, houses. And I remember I called her one day and I said, hey, you know, there's this one that you know, in the neighborhood we want to be in that I didn't get. What do you think about it? And she goes, do you think there's a reason I didn't show it to you? And I went, probably so. And so anyhow, so I think, and you know, that's, you know, and I won't share the reason as to why she said it wouldn't be a good purchase for us, but she provided value to us that we would have never known otherwise. So
Right, exactly. That's the whole key, right? And that's why I keep pounding on you guys on the call. Go into your MLS. So Ginny asked a question, is this available in Bright MLS? Is that one of your customers?
yes, yeah, it is
It
available.
is.
Yes.
Well, there you go, Ginny. You have access to this. So if you go into, I believe there's a training section within Bright MLS, Ginny. If you go in there, I think there probably are pre-recorded sessions and maybe even some live training sessions that are being done. Is that true, Kari?
Yes, there is training available within the product, within the help section. And the way our help is set up, you can be in any area of the product. And when you go to help, it will direct you right to there. And there's also videos for each section as well. So
Great. And I'm sure we're going to give you contact information at the end too, Ginny, on the national trainer. So if you don't get what you need there, take those numbers down because they can help you out for sure.
yeah.
Okay, speaking of that, why don't we talk about what you're doing with your Wednesdays? It's kind of neat.
So, well, you know, one thing that we have seen is our social media is the activity there is just increased dramatically. And so so I would suggest, you know, the realtors, if they just really up your involvement on that, because people are really paying attention right now. We have started a Did You Know, which is just a focus on a particular area of our product. And so we were doing that weekly. We're also doing kind of a webinar tips and tricks on Wednesdays. We have two people that are highly entertaining that are doing that for us. So you should look out for those. We advertise them on all of our social media. So anyhow, so that is what we are doing there.
So what is your social media? Is it CRS Data? Where do we find it? What is your name on social media? Is it CRS Data?
Yes, it is CRS Data, yeah.
So we just go to Facebook, type in CRS Data, and then you'll be able to follow this page, which has all this fun stuff on it. Okay, good.
Yes.
And then I think we want to talk about training too, right?
Yes. So we have, you know, when we, you know, our sales team has, you know, obviously they've not been traveling. And so we were just really brainstorming as to, you know, what we could do to help our customers out. And so, and then we kind of think of the environment they're in is, you know, they're not traveling as well. They're not going into their MLS offices doing training. So, you know, what is it we can do? We provide training on a regular basis for our MLSs, but they've been reaching out to every single one of our customers, you know, just to check in, see what's going on, how are they doing, kind of just get a pulse of how that particular MLS or association is doing. And, you know, they're offering training, free webinar training. So if your MLS or association has CRS data and they want, you know, just some extra training to fill some time, it's a perfect time to do it. And our sales team is more than happy to do it. So Rob and Nikki are both are part of our sales team, do wonderful demos, wonderful training. We also have a training staff beyond Rob and Nikki that can do it for you as well. So, but feel free to reach out. We're happy, you know, happy to help you anyway. Yeah.
And again, if you don't have if you don't have CRS, too many letters. If you don't have CRS data in your market, again, do the same thing. Go into your MLS, go to the product that you do have. Like I know some of you mentioned Realist, and some, you know, there might be Cloud CMA folks on the call. I know all of them are doing training, whether even sometimes it's pre-recorded. So if you just have, you know, one particular thing you want to learn about, you can do that. Or if you want to, you know, try to sign up for some live online, not live like in your office, obviously, but live online training. Take advantage of all of those things. MLSs have stepped up in a big way to help you guys with this stuff. And there's lots of opportunities. And again, those products are similar in the sense of the kinds of creativity you can use to find the people that you want to talk to. So they can help you as well. This is one, but there's many others too. So don't not do it because you don't have this particular one in your market.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we had, I think we've answered all the questions. I don't think anything else has come through. Is there any final suggestions? So if today people got off this call, Kari, and they were going to go try to do use their public record software like CRS Data in some new and way that they've never done before, what would be your first step you would recommend they try today to go and do it, make it happen?
I would definitely say go do your branding and also go into prospecting and just play around with it. See what you can do with it. I think you'll be absolutely surprised.
Yeah, it's actually, I mean, from what I've seen from it, the search capabilities are pretty similar to what you would do normally in an MLS search, right? So it's not complicated. It's just figuring out, like you say, what is that unique blend of criteria you want to use. And if someone wants to, use the Avery label functionality, is there training specifically on that too, Kari? So they figure out who they want, they get their list built, and now they want to do something with it. Do you guys help them with that piece as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there are, there's videos for it. Our trainers, train over it. Yeah, there's plenty of ways for them to be able to understand how to use it. And really, it is so self-explanatory that, we don't really ever have any major issues or.
Good.
So yeah, it's a great tool.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I think this is, what we're trying to do for all of you guys that are on the call is just find simple but effective ways to do what we know makes sense. And if you can get in a good habit right now of using these types of tools, and even if it just said, let's just pick one, let's just pick this one or Realist or whichever one it is that you have, get comfortable with it, learn how to export names out of it, and then, think about, again, you've got some time. What are the things that you think you're really good at? Was there a certain type of advice? Is there a certain market? Is your child involved with the soccer team? Just think about those. What is it that you have that nobody else has? And I know sometimes that sounds a little like, oh, well, I'm not more special than anyone else. I'm just an agent. I hate when I hear that. But people think that. You're not just an agent. You're a person that's helping people buy and sell their most important asset that their family lives in. It's a really big deal, right? And so what is it that you think you do better than anyone else? And that's what you would focus on when you talk about prospecting. So with that, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you again, Kari. I really appreciate you coming on today. We will be sending out a recording of this. And let's just jump to a couple of other goodies that we've got for you guys. Wanted to tell you about tomorrow. We've got some folks from Sync, Customer Commissions Inc. They're going to talk to you about how to nurture lifetime profitable client relationships. This piece that we just saw today could actually be a part of what they're going to talk to us about tomorrow. So they're really smart people, and the people that use that tool I know are doing extremely well. So even in this time, so don't miss that one. And then on Monday, we've got a whole different kind of a thing. We've got Lynn Legard from Trust Funds. And what Trust Funds does, and I know not every market has this, but if you have the need to normally to go drive over and pick up an earnest money check, they found a way for you to be able to do that online, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. So we're going to talk all about how we can do more virtual closings, right? Virtual listings and virtual appointments and virtual open houses are great, but we really want virtual closings, right? That's the most important thing. So Lynn's going to help us with that. So don't miss those two. They're both great speakers and really interesting topics. And also wanted to, for those that haven't yet, if you want to subscribe, and go to youtube.com and type in RE Technology Inc., just the way I have it on the screen there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that little button, that little thing looks like a bell, make that dark. And then you'll get notified of all of the recordings of all of the coffee chats, so you won't miss out on any of them. Also, if there's anyone on the call that would like us to automatically register you for the upcoming one so you don't have to worry about missing them, just put your email address in there into the question box and we'll be happy to do that for you. And then finally, first thing I want all of you to do, if you haven't already, is go to your MLS and check if you have an RE Technology subscription through them. You may already get it for free, so you don't even need to worry about this subscription offer, but if for whatever reason your MLS does not offer it, we're offering a free 3-month subscription. So you just go to retechnology.com, go right below where there's like a little search bar and it says create account. Click on create account. And then you'll see when that comes down, you'll see a monthly option, and then you can type in one of these promotional codes that you see on the screen, and you'll be able to get that for free. Okay. So anybody, thank you so much for coming. Thanks for everybody for attending. Thanks for those of you that are coming on a regular basis. We really appreciate your attention with us, and hopefully these are helping you. And we'll see you tomorrow again, same time, same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.